The time to be weather aware is now, and this is why we are zeroing in on a multi-day, multifaceted severe threat. Today, our main threat is going to be hail from Texas on up into Oklahoma. It could be 2 inches in diameter. That's the size of a lime. And then tomorrow, our biggest threat will be for tornadoes. We have a 7 on our Torcon. And remember, the greater the threat, the greater the number. And we have yet another threat, and that is flooding. This is into Friday. By the way, into Saturday, we will see this as well. So keep in mind that these threats are not only during the day, but they could take place in the overnight hours. This is America's Morning Headquarters. I'm meteorologist Stephanie Abrams alongside meteorologist Jordan Steele and Jim Cantori. And Jordan, we have a multiple days of severe weather ahead. And oddly enough, we saw a tornado in a place that we typically don't.
Yeah, and a lot of people
waking up. Let's talk about the timing of some of these storms coming through. And we're going to start you off and show you that it's not just one round of storms. You get actually a couple rounds. First into Oklahoma City. Notice that we don't get it really until we head in the afternoon hours and into the evening hours. So we have our first round. We could get very strong winds out of this, very heavy downpours, and the potential for hail as well out of these. And remember, that is our biggest threat as we head through the day today is hail. As we go into the evening hours, still heavier showers on the east side of town, and then more rain coming through. And that's the thing, is flooding could be a problem as we see storm after storm after storm make its way through. The same as we head into Wichita Falls. It's not just a one-round thing. So if you get a really big boomer to come on through, don't think, okay, I'm finished, because look at that. We have another line coming through as we head into the overnight hours. As we work our way towards Little Rock, we have our Torcon values here of 7 as you look down towards Pine Bluff. Little Rock, we're in a 5. And don't sleep even if you have a 3 as a Torcon. That you can't rule out tornadoes. We will see our line come through Friday morning, so that morning commute is going to be definitely a little on the tough side. You could have blinding rain, ponding on the roads on the highway. And as we head into the evening hours, more rain comes on through. Look at that dinner time on Friday. You might want to change your plans. It will blow through. Maybe meet people a little earlier or a little bit later so you don't have to deal with all that heavy rain coming in. Memphis, we are at a 5 here into Tennessee. We get it obviously a little bit later because we're a little farther east. So it's a 10 p.m. event coming through for us, Jordan, and then we are going to be clearing out.
And a reminder, you don't need a Torcon value to have a tornado.
Correct.
I mean, think about what happened in California just yesterday. Well, we know that with this risk of back-to-back severe threats.
Welcome back into America's Morning Headquarters. Our virtual view technology allows me to transport you from our Atlanta studios to St. Louis at Keener Park Plaza, where the rain moves in. Not the best day maybe to go up here into the arch. You're not going to have great visibility because it will get heavy at times for us. You could see some puddle and ponding happening on the grass and maybe even on the roads. A flood watch goes into effect tonight at 7 p.m. St. Louis, about 1/4 of an inch below average on rainfall for the year. But overall in this area, we have saturated grounds, and it's kind of storm after storm after storm coming through. And that's why we have flood advisories anywhere from West Virginia back down into Kansas, or I should say Oklahoma, a little smidge there of southeastern Kansas. But we will see some heavier showers for us, 2 to 3 inches when all said and done in St. Louis. And Thursday is going to be a very heavy rainfall day, and then a little bit less here on Friday, but you still have all the clouds that'll just be hanging around. All of this flood potential is due in part not only to the moisture in the atmosphere, but this boundary that we have here. That's a lifting mechanism, and it really doesn't go anywhere. Today and tomorrow it stays there. Saturday we finally get some movement, but that's when the whole system starts to finally move out. But overall, widespread 3 to 5 inches, and we are going to see some excessive rainfall potentially here. So therefore, we have yellow shading through tomorrow morning from Missouri to Oklahoma, and then as we head into our Friday to Saturday, it's going to shift a little bit. But notice today where the rain is. Notice tomorrow where the rain is. Doesn't move. So that's problematic. It does finally get moving into Saturday, but we're still seeing showers in those same areas. So, Jordan, that's one of the reasons we have the potential for flooding.
All right, it's time to book your flight, because some of the places on your bucket list might not be around in the next few decades.
Yes, just like your plane. These locations are departing soon. Meteorologist Felicia Combs joins us now to look at our first place on your list.
Yeah, that's right. Double meaning here, departing soon. Maybe it's your flight, maybe it's your destination. About what is happening with sea level rise and what it could mean for a lot of these castles that are hundreds of years old.
I'm impressed it's still standing after all these years out there.
Just look at how vulnerable it is. is being on that,
That
would you call it the
spit?
spit, the sand spit, in addition to like everything else that could go wrong with this. So when you look at places like this, is there anything being done now to protect the castle, or is it just like sitting duck?
Yeah, so it was in disrepair for a long time, but it is now, especially with being on that we've been seeing, it's more vulnerable than ever.
So let's look forward now. I know, you know, this is one of the places that could be very vulnerable, but this isn't the only one. There's got to be more.
Right, exactly. So that's where I put the question to all of you, to you two. Do you have any places that come to mind that you'd like to learn more about, but also bring awareness to?
Petra. I'm dying to go to Petra. It's like at the top of my list in Jordan.
Okay.
But there are more and more erosion and, you know, potentially heavier rains, you know, with it's a desert, but sometimes they get, and it could just eat away at Petra, I would think.
Okay, I'll add that to my list.
Mine's got to be glaciers, like the retreating glaciers. It'd be nice to just see some of these more historic ones, like you got the Bear Glacier in Alaska, that you could kind of see what it's been doing over the last couple of decades.
Right.
I mean, eventually, you know, you fast forward a couple decades, and I don't know if it'll be completely gone, but it's going to be retreated even more.
Right, you're talking about places that are amazing that you want to see before it changes too much.
I hope we can.
That was fun, Felicia. Thank you.
Can't wait for the next one.
Me too.
Well, for more stories like these, welcome back to Pattern. As the housing boom continues, we're depleting resources like lumber and steel.
And that's why some builders are getting creative with their materials. We got Andrew Lynn and Jack Becker. They're founders of Build Us. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate it. Andrew, first question for you. You built the Grass House in D.C., which solves some of the problems we just mentioned. What makes the Grass House so special? We need to go back to the natural materials, right, instead of the chemical-based stuff. Hey, you guys, thank you so much, Andrew Lynn and Jack Becker from Build Us. We appreciate your time and a new idea for maybe someone who's in the market to build a new house.
I was just wondering when I was asking him, because supply and demand is such an issue now with stuff that we kind of manufacture as it is. And this, you're going back to, you know, the sheep. Where do we have enough sheep to...
That's what I was thinking, too. If everyone hopped on this idea and was like, oh, we want this, do we have enough to supply everybody? If we were to completely switch building codes right now, I don't know. But, I mean, the more of us who, like, ask for these type of materials, then the supply will get bigger.
Yeah.
Anyway,
well, for more stories like this,
all right, time now to get a weather update with Felicia.
Who is the one that taught us about bamboo being grass? I feel like we have to give credit where credit is due, Felicia.
I'm filled with useless facts. No, I'm kidding.
That's a very useful fact.
That's a question I ask myself often. Do we have enough sheep? No. Let's talk about the weather, guys.
Welcome back to Pattern, everybody. Mike Corey is an adventurer.
Mike Corey.
Yeah, he's very creative, and he's on a journey to learn about the most remote tribes on the planet. In this week's Lost Tribes, he joins an Ethiopian tribe to learn about their rites of passage.
Here, and things are calming down for a minute in the Midwest, at least, Felicia.
Yeah, but that's not going to last too long. We've got that risk of some snow. Well, snow, not so much a risk unless you're trying to drive in it. But, of course, the flooding. Let's talk all about it. And, of course, we've got WOO coming up. They're going to talk more about it. But that severe weather risk really ramps up as we round out the week.
Yeah. And by the way, into next week, it's not like it ends either.
It just keeps going.
Yeah.
Kind of a soggy weekend for the Northeast, but everyone needs to be weather prepped, as they just talked about. So, again, WOO TV is coming up next.